Hello everybody, welcome back to Scrap Mechanic. Now, it's been a hot minute since I did a Scrap Mechanic video, and there's a few reasons for that, but the main reason is because my creative juices haven't been flowing recently, and I've just been building tanks in the background for you, and it's been a hit or miss, really. Just things like not knowing what to make. I haven't really made anything new, except maybe 2 new vehicles, even though one of those is a continuation of another vehicle. One completely brand new. Mainly I've been going over old tanks that I used to have, especially tanks like Tiger 1, Tiger 2, E100, Panzer 4. I'm going back and I'm trying to remake them. If you've been subscribed for a long time, my most popular Scrap Mechanic video, which unfortunately I do not have anymore, I had a top 10 list of tanks that I had built, and one of them was the Tiger 1. And it wasn't very good. It was very big, very clunky, and just looked really unappealing. So what I've done now is I've gone back and remade it, as you can see in front of your eyes. And if you've noticed, there are tracks on the tank. Thank God, because someone has created a mod where you can now add tracks to vehicles, but you have to remake the tracks using certain wheels that are part of the mod pack, and they are only in 1x4. So if you have vehicles with bigger wheels, you can only go 1x4 or 1x3, which isn't a problem. The tank still works with the 1x4 because it's multiple wheels interleaved instead of single road wheels. Hopefully they update the mod where you can have 1x5 or 2x5, and then I'd be able to make more tanks with tracks. So the only vehicles I can really do at the moment are either smaller vehicles with those wheels or tanks like the Tiger, Tiger 2, E100, Panthers with the interleaved road wheels. So in this video I'm going to be going over my new Tiger 1, which has been updated and I think is a very, very cool vehicle. And hopefully in the future, if you like this Tiger, I will go and show you the Tiger 2, which is complete, but that's if you want that, of course. So without further ado, let's get into the video. So I'm going to go around with you and I'm going to show you the front. So on the front of the vehicle, you've got your machine gun port, which rotates left and right. You have your driver's hatch, you have a light at the front, and on the front of the turret, you've got your MG. It's an MG42, not a 34, because the problem with the mod is you only have the MG34 with the drum mag, and it doesn't allow you to basically put the gun through blocks, only at the front of blocks, which it's really annoying. So I can only do MG42s. So there's 3 MG42s, one in the hull, one in the turret, and one for the commander. The commander can rotate it 360 degrees, but in practicality, you'd only be using it in front of him. So there isn't much of the vehicle. You've got your tracks at the front. They kind of go into the kind of, what would you call them? The covers for the sprocket. There's nothing I can do about that. We're going to go to the side, and you can see that beautiful 88mm gun. There is a radio antenna, and you can see how the track curves along from the top along to the bottom and then around again. It has side skirts. They don't really work very well, how normal skirts would be on the Tiger. It's more of a out a lot more, but as I said, there's nothing I can do about that. And we'll go to the back. As you can see, you've got your 2 exhaust pipes that go out. When you get into the vehicle, there will be smoke that comes out to show that the engine's on. I did want to make a version that has fans inside, but looking at the engine deck, there is just no need for it. And then there's nothing really in the back of the turret, and you can see the back of the tracks. As you can see as well, the tracks are kind of going up and down. In real life they wouldn't, because they were very heavy tracks, but because the mod is somewhat unstable, there's nothing I can do about that. It keeps glitching out. Sometimes they do move, which is really cool, but they don't act as an entity. So things like objects will phase through them when you try and go over obstacles. So technically they're not actually there. They're just aesthetic purposes. And as you can see on the top of the turret, you've got the commander's cupola, with his MG42. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go on top of the hull, show you around, then the top of the turret, and then we'll get into each crew member's position, and then we'll take it for a drive, and I will show you how the gun fires and the secondary guns fire. Okay, let's go. So we are on top of the hull, so you have your driver and your co-driver's position. The driver has a button on, well, a switch on his seat that allows it to ride up, so he can basically peek out of the top and he can see without having to use his periscope. The periscopes aren't functional. I mean, they are technically, but you have to connect them to a switch, which is really stupid. You can't connect them to the seats. I don't know why. I don't know why they've done that, but they are technically just aesthetic. We have the gunner's sight. He wouldn't have I don't think he would have a auxiliary sight. I think he only had one telescopic sight. And you've got his MG42. I would show you why I didn't have an MG34, but there's no point. And you've got the 88mm barrel, which is lovely. We're on the top of the turret. So the loader has his hatch. It's a full hatch, not comparable to the actual Tiger's hatch. The Tiger's hatch was kind of like more like a rectangle oval shape that would open up and kind of like go up 90 degrees, or I think it could go 180. But on this one, it does go technically 210 degrees because of the periscope. And the commander's hatch has his MG42, which is alright. He's got his little periscopes around. They are non-functional. But once we get into the commander's position, I will show you what I mean by that. And on the engine deck, you've got your vents and you've got your hatch for your engine. The engine is pretty big. It's not a full modelled engine. It's just engine blocks. And there are fuel tanks in there and radiators. Nothing that's you're not going to see unless you open the vehicle up, which we're not going to do. But that's basically the hull and the turret. Now we're going to go into the driver, co-driver, commander, gunner, and loader's positions and show you how they function. So we are in the driver's position. Now there should be some ammo, but there isn't. I haven't put ammo down. We have his transmission, which is right next to us. We have his driver's seat. He has his speedometer and there's some controllers. There's a switch for the headlight. I will just come out of that. So these are the little buttons we have. So his seat can ride up, so he can see outside and have a clearer view because the periscopes don't work. Let's go sit back down. He has a light. There you go, lovely. And the other ones on the hotbar are for controlling the steering, which is lovely. And you can see at the back the smoke. Now number 7 is the control for the smoke. So when you sit down, the smoke automatically activates, and that's the same for engines with fans. So as you sit in the vehicle, the fans can spin, or if you want to, you can sit in and then have engines just turn on, just kind of like that ambient sound, like you're in like kind of neutral gear. We can drive forward. The tracks are a bit off, like and the suspension, so you'll probably notice that it kind of bends, but there's nothing I can do about that. In the older kind of version, it wouldn't, but this is the version that has basically the least amount of lag. So if I start turning, it might start compressing the tracks. I'm not sure. See, they start like glitching out a little bit, which isn't great, but there's nothing. There's literally nothing I can do about it. So that, and then a bit more forward. So with the tracks, you have to do some weird stuff with the connect tool to get the track to bend like that. It was really confusing for me because the way I had it, it was kind of like it was a line from the sprocket to the idler wheel at the back, like a straight line, which just didn't look accurate. And so I had to like basically go around and try and do some weird stuff to the tracks and the connections, and eventually I got it like that. So the Tiger 1 has it, the Tiger 2 has it, and the E100 has it, so that's completely fine. That's the driver's seat. He's got his little viewport, and he can look at the back and see the crew, and he's got all his little buttons and dials and gadgets and stuff like that. So that is the driver's seat, and we'll move into the bow gunner seat. So this is the bow gunner seat. He doesn't really have much, except he has the radio, because he would have the radio. And he's got his MG42, which moves left and right, as you can see, the little ball turret right there. If he had his periscope, it would be, well, basically looking at nothing because it's being blocked by the armor, but that's completely fine. So he's got his little ball mount, and you can fire just like that, and the bullets get fucking stuck. But that's just all aesthetic purposes, really. Doesn't really matter. So that's really the bow gunner. He doesn't really have much except he has the radio. So if we come out, he has also a seat that comes up, so he can look out, and he could, you know, do it like that if he wanted to. And he has the radio. Cool. That's the bow gunner seat. Nothing too amazing, but if the radio worked and, you know, you could communicate with other vehicles, then he'd have a pretty important job. Now, we're going to go to probably one of the most important jobs of the crew, and that's going to be the gunner. So I'm sitting in the gunner seat right now, and I have the hotbar open because I want to show you that he has two functions. He has the button to activate the controls for the turret, just like that. The problem with this version is that two objects, such as a hull and a turret, do not like to move. Like, there is nothing in the turret blocking the turret ring. It just does not want to traverse. As you can see, I'll go into the gunner's view, and I can't traverse the turret anymore. It just does not want to do it. So we'll just lock it off, and I'm going to show you inside. So this is the gunner's view. He'll have his telescopic sight, and he has the breach to his right, and behind him is the commander with his little periscopes. We'll come back to that in a minute. And opposite him is the loader. He has his own little periscope. He has all the little engines down here that allow the turret to traverse, elevate. As you can see, we're not moving because it just doesn't like to move. And he has his own machine gun. See? Absolutely lovely. Now, the way this is going to work to show you how the gun works is I'm going to have to switch to the loader. So I'll go into the loader seat, load around, and then we'll come back to the gunner after I have discussed the loader, and then show you how the gun works. But this is a kind of overview. As you can see, very nice inside. Decent armor, MG to the right of the gun. So we're going to move over to the loader seat. Cool, so I'm sitting in the loader seat, and as you can see, he's got a decent view of the inside of the turret. His seat can also come up, just like that, so he can do it with the commander, the driver, and the bow gunner can do the same. He has rounds, basically, well, he only has like 4 to his right, and then there's another 4 to his left. The problem with things like this in Scrap Mechanic is the shells are basically the same size as the blocks, so you can't have like a ready rack of like 30 rounds each side. They just don't fit. So if you were going to do that, in reality, the hull would be massive, so you don't really want that. So he can only have a few rounds. So we're going to take a Panzergranate 39, and it's just flung outside the turret. So that's great. Oh no, it's been loaded. It's loaded. It's loaded. It's loaded. Cool. So we got that ready to go. So he has his buttons here, his switches. He's got his periscope there that looks up to that one. We can now switch over to the gunner's side. So there's a round loaded in the breech, as you can tell, because the breech blocks up. We will try... Cool. So the turret has moved. It will lock 90 degrees, so I'm going to keep it there. We will go into the seat, and it's locked itself anyway. Cool. That's not moving now, so we're going to fire. Lovely. So the gun's been fired, and as you can see, there is a cannon basket. Click again. So that one's there. There is enough room for a couple of rounds, and when you get back or you're in an area where you can dispose of them, then that's completely fine. But you just load another round, and then you'd be good to go. So that's the gunner's position, and we're going to move on to now the final stage, the commander seat. So now I'm in the commander seat, and as you can see, he's got a decent view of inside the turret. He can see the loader, he can see the gunner, and if it's, traverse left or right, he can see the driver and the co-driver. Now, you may wonder why there are different seats. Well, the commander, the gunner, and the bow gunner have different seats to the loader and the driver, because the guns have a block that allows you to left-click fire, but these seats don't allow you to do that. So you need these specific seats to do it, which is like, okay, but they won't work with normal seats. So that's why the commander, gunner, and bow gun have one, because they each have a machine gun and the gunner has the main armament. So he has his little periscopes. Again, they don't actually function. He's got his little motor here, so when he goes up, he can traverse his MG, and he can fire his MG. Absolutely lovely. And he can sit outside and he can see around him. Be careful with snipers, but if he needs to, he can go hatch down, and he's inside, and if he could use his periscopes, which I'm really annoyed that I can do, but hey ho, what can you do about? This is really all the commander does. He doesn't do anything else. Modern tanks, he'd be able to like fire the main gun, coax if he needed to. Some tanks had a commander's override, I think. I'm not sure which ones. I think later in the war they had commander's override, but I don't believe the Tiger had a commander's override. If I'm wrong, don't think it had a commander's override. But that's the commander's position. It's supposed to, that's it, yeah, it's supposed to flip there. There you go. And he can see around and do what he needs to do. You can command the tank, and I think that's a very nice kind of picturesque scene of the Tiger 1. I'm planning to camo them. I have a camo version of the Tiger 2, so if you do enjoy this video and want to see my more showcases, I am building more tanks. It's just a pain in the ass. Then I will show you the Tiger 2 with its grey and its forest camo, and what I'm going to do now is I'm going to get out and we will conclude the video. So guys, that was my showcase of my brand new Tiger 1, and I hope you did enjoy. It's been a while since I made a video. I'm hoping to come back and do a few more videos for you guys. I'm a bit rusty, as you can probably tell from how I've been talking, but I've just wanted to get back in, and I really do appreciate you guys being around. If you do enjoy my scrap mechanic videos, I will try and make more of them. I haven't played Enlisted for a while because Battlefield 6 came out, but I haven't really been on Battlefield 6 lately either. But scrap mechanic really just, I just stopped playing it. They're bringing some new vehicles out, like the Ferdinand, which is pretty interesting. If you want more Enlisted videos, please let me know, and I'll go back and play the bloody game again. But if you don't and want me to keep making scrap mechanic, I will happily do that. I have some more games in the works as well. I want to go back and play some older games. But just let me know what you think of this, and I will do my best to bring some more videos to you in the future. So I hope you did enjoy, guys, and I will see you in the next video. Cheers, guys. Thank you very much.